everybody. Welcome back to another page of the Playbook Podcast. You got Nate, you got Opal, you got Downtown Sage Brown, TikTok sensation.
Yeah.
Downtown Sage Brown. Sage losing not only the Frisbee, but the two shoes, and then getting it all back. I love the little toe clap at the end. That shit had me cracking up.
Very
that was
impressive.
awesome.
Absolute
If you haven't
wild
seen
ride.
it, go watch it. It's a great story. Great ride. We are 1 week post NFL draft here. And we've got some favorite picks, least favorite picks, which team did the best, worst, and then our rookie of the year, early rookie of the year picks. I've got a couple of shockers in my rookie of the year picks. I'm kind of excited, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going up outside of the obvious ones for these, so I'm excited to talk about them. But I think we jump right into favorite picks. Before we get into today's video, guys, I just want to give a special shout out to today's sponsors, starting with Goldfine and Bowles, Lawyers for the Injured. Personal injury, workers' compensation, those are their two things, but any sort of legal advice, they're the people to call. Give them a phone call, 309-673-5144. Tell them we sent you, okay? And I'd also like to shout out SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video as well. Use promo code PlaybookSports on their website to get $20 off your first purchase of $30 or more. Let's get back to the video. Addison, I'll let you start. Give us one of your favorite picks. We'll each take turns talking about it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, my first guy, Jazon Newton for the Washington Commanders.
That's my number one video. Thank you.
Thought he would be a first-round talent.
Yes.
Instead, he's a second-round early, but love him. I mean, just the explosiveness to get into the backfield, how quick he is. It's a really good pick for the Commanders. You need a lot of help everywhere, and again, to get him, who I thought was a first-round D tackle, love that pick for Washington.
I like it even more because they shouldn't have gotten him. First of all, I shouldn't have fallen out of the first round, personally.
Absolutely.
But then Atlanta in front of them.
Yeah,
We're going to
I know,
talk about
straight
Atlanta's
up.
draft. Atlanta trades up, needs a D tackle. It's like, oh man, okay, they're going to save themselves and get a true first round talent.
I really thought so.
And instead they take like the fifth best defensive tackle in Ruka Rororo, who is good. Not a bad defensive tackle, but Johnny Newton can be an excellent defensive tackle.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Johnny Newton I have on here. I mean, that's one of the steals of the draft.
Yeah,
in my
100%.
opinion.
He could be the biggest steal of
Could
the
be
draft
the
just because of the
biggest
fact that he got out of the first.
Yeah,
That's
which
crazy.
shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened. It's a really good pick. I had that one too. Sage, which one you got?
I actually have a 2-for-1 right here,
Okay.
and that is Jared Verse and Brendan Fisk.
Okay.
All right, both of them coming out of Florida, both of them going to the LA Rams.
Yeah.
Absolutely electric moment for them during the draft when they're drafting Fisk, and they got Jared Verse on the phone and all that. They wanted him to make the call, actually, and he got stuck in LA traffic.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Absolutely wild. But just having those two teammates coming up there, they were both transfer guys in college, which helps so much. They've grown so much together, and to have that kind of chemistry on that team is just going to make it electric. And just the transition from college life to professional sports life so much easier for them that I think football, like their football team is just going to reap the rewards in the end.
Yeah. And their defensive line played so well together last year, too.
Exactly.
And now I know you lose Aaron Donald, but you bring in a first-round guy like Jared Verse that we all seem to like, and Braden Fisk, who really flew up draft boards throughout the whole process.
Yeah.
Those were two really good picks. I thought it was almost maybe a little early for Braden Fisk, but it didn't make my hate list or anything. I like the player a lot.
Yeah.
I think it was a solid pick for the Rams. I like what they did in the draft. Just address defensive line.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I thought it was smart.
they had probably my favorite draft.
Yeah.
They had a really good draft. I have them on one of my draft as one of the teams I loved. Picks I really liked. I also have a 2-for-1 here. Philadelphia Eagles sitting at 22 and getting Quinyon Mitchell isn't fair. And then moving up to 40 and taking Cooper DeJean.
Yep.
Another guy who should have gone in the first round. And the Eagles, what did the Eagles desperately need this offseason?
Secondary.
Defensive backs. And they get two of the best 5 in the entire draft. And only have to trade up once. And I know that they screwed over the Packers by trading up
makes me
right in
so
front
happy,
of
though.
them to take Cooper DeJean.
That made me great.
That was unbelievable. And then the Lions did the same thing to him.
Yeah.
Also on my list, Terrion Arnold at 24. Great pick by Detroit.
Yeah.
Needed secondary members. That defense needed some help on the back end. And they go out and get it. And they move up right in front of the Packers, who were probably going to take them. Yeah, I liked what the Eagles did, unfortunately.
Yeah,
They
of
just
course.
always draft
Rich get
so
richer in the draft.
well, man.
How he
They
knows
draft
what he's doing.
They
So
draft so well.
well.
And the thing is, we don't talk about how he really doesn't do much during the season. Like his draft is his stuff right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I love to see it, but like, how much are we crediting Howie too much with players falling into his lap?
I know, right? I
Like
know.
Yeah,
every
I know.
single
I know.
year, they're just like, how did you get this player?
Right.
And it's just
Well,
the player
everyone
that
else
every
passed.
fan
Right,
wants.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Howie masterclass. It's like, no, he didn't do anything.
It's like, no, everyone
He's
else
just
screwed up. I
blessed.
could make this pick.
Right.
I
this
could
is a
make this
simple
pick.
Yeah.
Right. You need a defensive tackle. Well, here's Jalen Carter at pick 9.
Right.
And you need DBs. Oh, here's Quinyon Mitchell at 22. Here's Cooper DeJean at 40. It's like, no. They can't keep getting away with this.
Right. Like,
unbelievable.
Is it really Howie just being a mastermind, or is it him just doing the common sense move and everyone else thinking too fucking hard?
Yeah.
Agreed. I totally think it's that. Addison, another one you like.
Another one I like, shout out Bob, A.D. Mitchell for the
A.D.
Colts.
Mitchell,
Yeah, 6'2 receiver, basically 4.38 speed.
Yeah.
I mean, CeeDee Lamb comp. And it's just a weapon that you can get Anthony Richardson. If this guy, he felt, attitude problems.
Yeah, little
whatever.
effort issues if he's not in the progression.
Yeah, he stops giving up routes.
Right, gives up on some routes if he knows he's not getting the ball.
I think Colts are a good place for him to go to. I think Michael Pittman's going to be a good mentor for that guy.
Yep.
So, and it's just with Anthony Richardson, get playmakers around him immediately, and that's another situation where they traded down in the second round. We're still able to get A.D. Mitchell, who was a first-round talent.
First-round talent, for sure.
And that's huge to be able to get him, and then Latu obviously in the first round.
Yeah.
It's like that's 2 first-round guys in the second round. So I love him for the Colts. Yeah.
Yep. I thought A.D. Mitchell, and especially where they got him in round 2,
Yeah.
later in round
52.
2.
Yeah, 52.
That's a fantastic value pick. I mean, because you know the talent's there. Can Steichen get the most out of
Oh,
it?
yeah.
That's what we're hoping
Yeah.
to see, and I bet you he can. Steichen's
Oh, yeah.
a really good coach. The Colts are going to be an interesting team to watch this year. I mean, they broke the record for their team sacks last year,
Yeah.
and they add Latu. That's crazy. And they just brought back all their guys. I think the Colts keep Anthony Richardson healthy, please.
Yeah, you said it, Steichen. That's just another piece that he gets to play with. And
Right.
everywhere he's called plays. I mean, it's obviously just Philly and the Colts, but both. He did it last year with Minshew, with maybe not great weapons,
Right.
obviously just adding Mitchell, but it's like he made them look pretty damn good
Pretty
with
good.
Gardner Minshew
With
running
Minshew
the show,
throwing the
and
ball.
now that you're getting Richardson back, it's interesting to see what Steichen's going to do.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Sage, another one you got.
Another one that I liked was surprisingly from the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay.
In round 3, pick
Braylon
74,
Trice.
they got Braylon Trice.
Great pick. Yeah, great pick.
And I honestly thought that he was probably the number 5 edge in this
I
class.
thought so too.
And surprising that he fell over to number 3. I thought he could be a second round pick right there. And it was the one good thing Atlanta did.
Yes. Yep.
But also they didn't have to do that because you could have gotten the best pass rusher at 8.
Right.
So-
Right. Yeah. Forced
That's
themselves
a
to make
damn
this
good
move.
point. That is a damn good
You
point.
could have gotten Latu right
Lots of
there.
it instead, but you go Trice. Trice was interesting because he started mock draft season as a first rounder, a consensus first round pick, and then he just started falling. It's like, why is this guy falling down the boards? Because he's not the most athletic. It's like, but you saw what he did. Like we all saw what he did. Again, it's just that pre-draft stuff that flies people up boards and drops them down boards.
Yeah.
Like Xavier Worthy was a consensus second round guy until he ran the 40, and everyone's like,
Oh.
whoa, my God, he's so fast. It's like, bitch, we know he's fast. This
Right.
is not surprising. But those teams really take that stuff into consideration, and I do think Xavier Worthy's going to be really good for the Chiefs.
I
another
unfortunately
topic.
agree.
That's another topic. I don't have him as one of my favorite picks, but I really like that pick for them.
Yeah.
Especially with Rashee Rice missing half the season at least now is what they're thinking. That one's tough.
Should be more.
Should be more.
Kick him out.
Yeah, full season. Out of the league.
Yeah.
Retired.
Indefinite
suspension.
Get him on
Yes, please.
CT ESPN.
ESPN. I got a late one, 7th rounder. Kalen King to Green Bay in the 7th round.
Ooh.
I think that was a steal because before this, he had a horrible 2023. Horrible. 2022, he was top 2 corner in the class. One of the best corners in college football. I don't know what happened this year at Penn State, but I've seen tape where he was amazing.
Yeah.
This reminds me of Derek Stingley, right? We all saw freshman year Derek Stingley, best corner in the country. The next 2 years, very average, and now he's been solid in the league. Packers taking him in the 7th round. That's like that's a throwaway pick, right?
Yeah.
These 7th rounders, truthfully, how many of them ever make a difference? Not many. You take a guy that has shown he can make a difference on the field in college, and then a bad season dropped him all the way to the 7th round. I mean, he had the worst. Like he cost himself millions of dollars with how he played this year. What happened? I don't know what happened, but can Green Bay get the most out of him in the 7th round? I mean, all you have to do is make the team, and that's a win, in my opinion, for a 7th round pick. Just make the team.
Agreed. Green Bay themselves had a great defensive draft.
They really did.
And
Defensively,
I'm sure you
great
hated
draft.
it.
Yeah, it pisses me off.
Defensively, a really
But
good draft.
God,
I mean,
Adrian Cooper was a stud pick for them.
What else do they need, though? I look at it,
I think
and
they got-
last year, offensively, what Love did in the playoffs and the end of the season, you got to be grinning ear to ear, the young weapons all around him. Let's build the defense completely for this guy now. That's what they freaking did.
Another one of those teams that just drafts well.
Yeah.
Like, we like to give them a bunch of shit for always going, they never go wide receiver in the first round. They don't. And I didn't like their first round pick this year. More on that later.
Yeah.
But they always end up doing fine. They always just do fine. It's like, damn, they did it well again. Any other favorite picks?
Yeah, I got obviously be a little homer. Bears here. The 5th round pick, Austin Booker from
Great
Kansas.
pick.
Yeah,
Great pick.
I like the fact that the Bears traded back up in to address edge after not having done anything all free agency. This kid's only played like 500 career snaps on defense, not many, but he's just an ascending player. It's all the traits there. He's a long athlete. He's fast. He's got burst off the edge. Can he develop? Maybe add a little bit of muscle. He's huge, but it is lean for his size.
Right.
But he's got long arms. It's just a good pick because they have to address edge. I like to trade back up, like I said. But it's just what this guy can project to. I mean, I saw him in a couple, like he was a top 100 prospect, and we're getting him pretty late in the 5th, so I'll take that.
Absolutely.
And again, it's just the focus of getting an edge when the Bears obviously need help there. I don't think we're going to get Yannick Ngakoue back from free agency, so it's like we need somebody across Sweat, and why not take a chance on
in the 5th
a
round.
guy, exactly, that people project he could be if he develops the way everything goes to plan, he could be somewhat of a force.
Very solid. Absolutely agree. Sage, other guys.
Since you're going with the homer, I'm going to go with the homer as well. And I'm going to go with our second-round pick, Roger Rosengarten. Yes. This man did not allow a single sack his entire college career.
Yeah, that's wild. That is just wild.
He just didn't allow a sack.
No wonder Washington was so good this year. Like, look at all the players they had drafted.
Right. Like,
they were stacked.
As soon as I saw that pick, I was like, man, like, I know the name. And then I started looking in, and I was like, how did this guy, like, how is he not graded higher?
Yeah.
He has some things to work on. Obviously, he wasn't going up against the hardest edge rushers.
Right.
But gosh, like, when you watch him play, like, he is a plug-and-play starter, right tackle, right now.
Yes.
Ronnie Stanley's taking a pay cut, so like let's get this offensive line in order. I'm pumped. And on the other side of the ball, we took Adisa Isaac.
Yep, Adisa Isaac's
Adisa Isaac, and I mean better than his college teammate,
Okay.
Job
We'll
Robinson.
talk about that. We'll talk about that. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I was gonna say when I scouted, I wasn't gonna scout Roger Rosengarten, but then Mel Kiper mocked him in the first round. I'm like, dang it. Okay, fine, I'll scout him.
Yep.
I scouted him. Very good athlete. He ran a 4.9 240 at 6'5", 308 pounds.
That's
So that's quick.
Big boy moving.
97th percentile, 92nd percentile on the 10-yard split. He was a ROS of 9.59. I thought he needed to stay in college one more year because he plays a little bit high. He doesn't weigh a ton a year. Only 308 pounds. Only 308 pounds.
Right.
Needs a little more sand in there. If Baltimore can bulk him up by 10, 15 pounds, you've got a starting tackle for as long as you want.
Yep.
As long as you want on the right side. You just replace Morgan Moses with someone younger, has way more upside than him. I was a big fan of him. I projected him second to third round, but Kiper had him in the first, so I just got him. So I thought he was really good. And I do like the Adisa Isaac addition as well. We're not going to badmouth John Robinson, though, to talk up Adisa Isaac. I won't.
I could have went with TJ Tambo. That seemed too easy.
I thought that was a fantastic pick.
So happy with that.
Loved the back end of the Ravens draft. Who else did they take in the 4th round? They took TJ Tampa and someone else, and I can't think of it.
Ooh.
They took someone else later, and I was a big fan of it.
Tampa, and then we got Rasheen Ali in the 5th.
No, who was it?
Tez Walker.
Yeah, Devontae Walker. Great
Walker.
freaking pick in the 4th round.
Yep.
I thought that was a steal. I thought that.
I know a lot of people thought he should stay one more year.
Yeah, 1 more year in college.
But
Smart to leave. Smart to leave because North Carolina's going to be ass.
Oh,
Yeah, I think
Smart
he
to
knew that
go.
was coming. But he also only played like half the season and led the team in touchdowns because of like some like quirky little like rules.
Yeah, he had to sit out the first half of the season for something.
Right, it was like a transfer thing or something like that.
It was a late transfer portal edition, so he was suspended. But as soon as he got in there with Drake May's like, this is a guy.
Yeah.
Just like Josh Downs was a guy for him. And then he's gone. He comes in, he's immediately the best receiver for Drake and was a stud. Yeah, I thought that was an excellent pick by the Ravens as well. They had a really good draft. Other ones, freaking Steelers crushed it. I'll talk more about them when we get into like favorite draft classes.
I hate talking about it because everyone's talking about
They're
it.
so
I just
good.
hate them so
I'll
much.
just talk about their 98th overall pick, Peyton Wilson, linebacker, starting linebacker day one.
Who could have been the best linebacker.
Could be the best linebacker, most athletic probably. He ran like a 4.3 something, 40-yard dash, super athlete.
Yep.
The only concern was a little bit of injury history. But if you get 5 or 6 good years out of him, out of the 98th overall pick. That's a steal.
Yep.
And then Zach Frazier at 51 made me sick. I was sitting at Kevin's house and I was just pouting because I was like, I know he's not going to be there at 55. I know Zach Frazier's going to go to the Steelers. Goes walking out and they send out an offensive lineman and I was like, here goes Zach Frazier. And then Zach Frazier, I was like, I'm leaving. I don't even care anymore.
So done.
I'm over it. Steelers just, I never want to pick behind them again.
Yeah.
I never want to pick directly after them again.
It's the worst.
They took everybody I liked and it broke my heart. I like this pick. Kieran Amagaji to the Bears at 75. I was a fan of that pick. A big-time projectable tackle for them who doesn't have to start right away.
Yeah.
Just sit behind Jones, sit behind Darnell Wright, learn the position. We'll coach you up. I like that pick a lot.
His draft call almost brought me to tears, too.
Oh, I didn't see it. It was
wicked.
He's a hometown guy.
Okay.
And they were like, are you in Highland Park right now or whatever? He's like, yeah. Yeah, I am.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he had a tweet from when he was in high school that was like "bear down until I die" or something.
Oh,
He's,
okay.
he's
He's a
literally
bear.
like
He's a bear.
half his tweets were like, "Who the fuck knows how to call plays in the Bears?"
Yeah, no.
From like 6 years
Good,
ago.
though. I love it, man. I love it.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Any other favorite picks we want to talk about before we move on? Anything from you two over there?
Okay,
Devin?
you're good. Yeah.